If branching narratives are seen as trees with how said branches weave and interact with each other, then Baldur's Gate 3 is goddamn Yggdrasil. The amount of interconnected and linked story paths that can appear at seemingly random moments hasn't been seen since The Witcher 3. Usually when a branching narrative structure is used, it makes a game feel thinned out, so it can occupy a space where every route takes place along the same track. Not in BG3, where the depths and intricacies of each decision form an unimaginable tapestry of narrative. Never before have I had a game shock me with just how much content I missed, and it's the first game to ever entice me to replay it immediately after finishing it. I don't think this makes it an immediate shoo-in for a winner though. I'm only going to pick the winner once I finish this script and have all my thoughts written out. And I can definitely say that the length of Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't incentivize replayability, and its relatively slow beginning makes each replay a bit boring until you reach the meat of the goblin camp. But even if it doesn't win, it's without a shadow heart of a doubt the most impressive narrative this year. Alan Wake 2 is Remedy's best game to date, and its story oozes with its trademark rabbit hole of weirdness that you descend down more and more as bizarre things begin to happen. It's certainly the game that's most proud of its narrative this year. It's absolutely brimming with subtext and symbolism, and it's a game that's dying to be deconstructed, but I leave that to my more long-winded correspondence. I will say that I absolutely adore stories about American culture from foreign countries, and it's doubly fascinating to see them from a country that isn't Japan. Alan Wake 2 employed bold storytelling methods such as non-linearity and excess exposition. Though they justified it in the universe, however, it's still a crutch that Sam Lake uses, and he left little for players to intuit on their own. Maybe having the case board be a bit more in-depth to give some player agency in the plot, sort of like a test to see if they've been paying attention, instead of just the optional mix-and-match game it ended up being. Phantom Liberty certainly had the most challenging choices out of any story this year, and ended up becoming my favourite individual storyline that CD Projekt has ever written, with their trademark moral dilemmas between grey and dark grey that have severe consequences for the world around you. Phantom Liberty excels because there's much more at stake in this story, with Songbird, Reed, and even the President to look out for. In the base game, I wasn't all too fussed about finding a cure, because I knew I had eternity to get it done, and no one else was in danger. Phantom Liberty puts a lot more on the line, and it helps shape you and your V as the kind of person you are. It's an essential questline to experience before committing to an ending. Though, for the ending I got, I question how it goes from action set piece on the highway to straight up survival horror for no reason in particular, before calming back down to a sorrowful moment. There's tonal whiplash, and then there's whatever this is. We've seen the symbiote storyline play out many times, but never with this much weight and gravitas given to it. It truly takes the time for Peter's madness to consume him in a way that a 2-hour film just can't allow, going in depth with just how twisted the symbiote can make the people it touches. Even when the alien is removed from him, the story continues to savage Peter Parker, ripping away hope from him, all while dealing with the consequences of his actions. It almost feels unnecessarily cruel, like Insomniac is trying to break Peter, even after the suit is off of him. I also love how this classic storyline is able to be told with more modern Spider-Man story elements, like Miles Morales and Kraven's Last Hunt. It creates this unique synthesis of all these excellent Spider stories, and makes a fantastic and fresh interpretation of all those masterclass comic books. However, I will say that Miles' plot feels disjointed and secondary to the main campaign. My dark horse this year is Octopath Traveler 2, for being able to tell so many compelling and entertaining stories all under one roof. It's like a storybook game, where each chapter is only one tiny piece before you're whisked off to an entirely different genre. What other games have stories about avenging your murdered wife, finding your artistic voice, and the positives of capitalism all in one game, all told in a brilliantly unique way that always leaves you in a great moment and inspires you to grind so you can continue that traveler's tale. Though I wish the stories were more interconnected. I guess I don't feel like a party, it's more of an anthology, and I do love camaraderie in my JRPGs. So after getting all my thoughts out and rewatching a couple of cutscenes, I think I'm ready to declare a winner, but let's go ahead and rank these stories at the same time. At number 5, it's Octopath. While I did enjoy every individual story told in the game, none of them were masterpieces or anything, and I do need more connected storylines. Number 4 is Spider-Man. While it's the most epic version of the symbiote storyline we've ever seen, it's relatively inoffensive, and it doesn't feel like the story took any significant risks like our other contenders. Number 3 is Alan Wake 2. It's a great story, much more profound than what it appears to be, and the epitome of Remedy's unique storytelling style that cements Sam Lake as one of the industry's best auteur developers. Number 2 is Baldur's Gate 3. While I do not doubt that hidden somewhere within all those branching paths is the particular route that would give it the number 1 spot, making me look for it and hiding some of it behind dice rolls is going to knock a few points off. And number 1 is Phantom Liberty. Maybe I'm a bit biased by the astronomical amount of views this expansion continues to rake in for my channel on a daily basis, but it gives real weight to your stories and continues CD Projekt's philosophy of side quests taking precedence over the main story. And in an open world game, that's the right call.